Do you want to participate in Time for All Ages? It will be a free flip photo kind of thing. Black or red.
Interesting. Good morning. I didn't. No. Yeah, okay. Hello, welcome. Welcome to University Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. My name is Chloe McElroy. My pronouns are she, her, and hers. I'm about 5'4", with about fiery reddish hair and a high ponytail. I am wearing big sparkly purple glasses and a very nice cute jean dress for anybody who cannot see me. I will be your service leader today. I would like to welcome you to our shared sacred space. We welcome all that are here with us today in person, and of course all of our friends that are online. If we want to wave to our friends in the back there. Hi friends, thank you for being here. If you wouldn't mind just silencing those little noise devices that make lots of noises, we'd prefer to not have them be part of our sermon today and our service today. Right, and so we are going to go ahead and start with committee moments. So if you have a committee moment, please come up here and share.
Hello, everybody. David McElroy. March 17th, St. Patrick's Day, will be the men's group. It's a shared potluck, or you can bring your own. But 6:30 on the 17th of March.
Hi, Joey Cole for SAC, sort of. This may sound petty, and I don't mean it that way. It's just a practical solution. First of all, thank you all so much for all of the wonderful food you're bringing in for Knight's Pantry. And And I delivered a huge box of food last week for Knight's Pantry. However, in that box, there were 3 huge bags of cans. Somebody really cleaned out their canned goods, which is wonderful. That's what they need. However, if you could please package them in smaller bags. I could not even lift that to get it out to the car. I had to repackage all of those so that we could get it out to the car. Just, again, a practical request. How's that? And again, thank you for your generosity.
Jill Vita for Women's Group. We're meeting Friday. Rachel has generously donated a craft for us to do. It's going to be some stained glass that we're going to make, so it should be fun. And one of the things I'm thinking about doing with the group is connecting with other women's groups from other religions and organizations, and maybe doing like a dinner once a month or something like that. So something I'm working on. If you guys know anybody that is interested, let me know.
Good morning, Lindsay Stroh for the auction. You are the auction committee. Sarah and I are co-chairing it. It's coming up April 27th. Unfortunately, our auctioneer that we had in the past has a commitment that Sunday, but not to fear because Chloe McElroy will be our auctioneer. And you know she's got a voice that we'll be able to hear.
I sure do.
What we need are donations. On the table back there, there are 3 piles. 2 of them are green. Those are for businesses. Businesses need a business letter and a business form to fill out. And I encourage you to pick at least one of them up that you can make copies of and go to your favorite restaurant, barbershop, hairdresser, masseuse, whatever business you frequent, liquor store, and ask them if they would donate. We've gotten nice donations from liquor stores.
Wow.
If they would donate something. The orange one is a donation form for individuals because all of you have talents and things that you can create, carve, crochet, or a service that you can do. For instance, one of them that we talked about yesterday was someone is going to invite people to park at their house and they will drive them back and forth to the airport and they can leave their car at their house. That's a valuable thing you can do for somebody. There's all kinds of things you can do for somebody you may not think of. And many of you are artistic and can do crafts or teach guitar or teach sign language or all the different talents that we have. So the trick is that I need to have everything in by the end of March so that we can get it, or the middle of April, so that we can get it on the website ahead of time. There will be a time for bidding online before we have the actual auction. And what we found is, especially the parties, where people are having a costume party or a mystery party, some of those get filled up online before we ever get to the actual auction. So if you have an event like that, they're very successful, and we love it. I know of 2 already that are coming. So please see me if you have any questions. Pick up the green forms for a business and the orange form for yourself. You can also do it online, and the link is in the notable news, and it's also on the letters. So thank you, everybody. We're going to have fun. Woo.
Ann Packham here on behalf of the board. I just wanted to note that we are starting a series in March called Finding Your Spark, which is kind of, those of you who have been around for a while, we used to have like circle suppers at people's home where we gathered once a year and talked about what do we see as the future of this church, what's our commitment. So those are starting, and it's in the notable news, but kind of scroll down a little bit to find it. So I'm encouraging to open up your notable news this week and sign up for one of those sessions. They start March 18th. Some of them are here after service or before service, some of them on a Saturday, and some of them via Zoom. So just reminding you to open that up so that we can get those all filled up. So far, only 9 people had signed up, and we'd like to get everybody who's a member to try to attend one of those.
Melanie, not really with the committee, but just a reminder of our Lost and Found, which seems to have grown. and I recognize some of this stuff may not belong to anybody in our congregation, but anyway, we have someone's book and water bottles and other drinking containers and some clothing and bags. I think there's a couple more bags in here. So if you're missing something and you think you left it here, check it out.
Hi, Lori Hospitality. I've got 3 things. One is men's and women's group. There's a lot of sodas, beer, and wine in the kitchen left over from the event last night. So please feel free to use it. Second thing, anyone in the last 6 months who nicely took home our tablecloths and our black and white tablecloths from the library for cleaning, could you check around your house and see if you put them aside to bring them back and forgot? We're missing about half of our tablecloths. So, well, that's about what we use in one session. So I think somebody generously took them home and got them, they were in the way and they put them aside. Please take a look around if you've taken them home in the last 6 months. Third thing, the coffee sign-up will be on the counter after service. There's a lot of open days. You've got a lot of opportunities.
Janet, with programs. So not next Sunday, but the Sunday after the service, New Inquiring Minds is meeting, and we're going to be meeting in the back room, in the back building, and not in the library. Anyway, the topic will be patient-centered healthcare. So it's about healthcare, and officially, it's going to be centered on questions of overtreatment and overdiagnosis. However, and this is how it's going to appear in the notable news. However, I realize that healthcare is in the news recently with the confirmation of RFK Jr. as head of Health and Human Services. And so if the conversation veers toward current events, it will not be shut down. So I'm just letting you know. Thank you. I hope to see you there.
Hi everyone, Tay, Religious Education Coordinator. This is a very early announcement, but I want to put it out there. We're going to be doing Box Sports Sunday on April 6th. So if you have cardboard boxes that are like littering your house and you don't know what to do with them, you can bring them over to me, break them down, we'll put them in the shed, and we will be using that for our kiddos to build their great cardboard architectural structures. We will also probably be asking for volunteers to help out with it. Anyone who knows that it gets very hectic. There's a lot of work, a lot of cutting involved, and we are a very small staff. So potentially put that on your minds, just that we might be needing volunteers April 6th for Box Sports Sunday. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Miguel Rodriguez from the Social Action Committee. Alan, at least you and Melissa will always have Paris. Texas. It was a great event last night. I know this is not Joyce and Concern, but I mentioned Paris, Texas. The reason why I mentioned Texas is because there are 133 confirmed cases of measles there. Well, 8 of them is probably in New Mexico. Ages from 15 to 17-year-olds. The theory is that an unvaccinated community in Gaines, Texas, that's how it started to spread, with 18 hospitalizations and 1 death already. Measles is a respiratory infection that spread through the air, and it's 90% infectious when someone is exposed. Virus can remain in the air after 2 hours that a person has left that area. Symptoms appear 7 to 14 days after exposure. They include rash, high fever, cough, runny nose, watery eyes, can cause inflammation in the brain and pneumonia. So it's serious. It's not like chickenpox where, hey kids, everybody get into bed, get the chickenpox, and you're done. No, measles is a lot more serious and deadlier. Measles was declared eradicated in the United States in 2000 because of high rates of vaccinations. No more. And the reason I'm telling you this is because the government doesn't want you to know this. So we have to take care of each other. It is less likely to spread if you are already vaccinated and the symptoms are less. There is lasting 1 report of an infected person traveling to San Antonio, I believe New Braunfels, San Marcos, um, in February. That person passed through 2 major universities and the San Antonio Riverwalk, which I've been there, very nice, between February 14th and 16th. The resource guide will post this through the notable news in our SAC section there. So you will be able to see the detailed times and locations in case you or a loved one or a friend visited these areas in February, so you can monitor your symptoms. So yeah, let's be on the lookout and take care of each other.
Good morning, Margie with membership. If you are new to the congregation, you are welcome to stay after services for coffee, cake, and chat. Back in the conference room, through the double doors to the right, we'll have some coffee, we'll sit together, get to know each other a little more, and learn a little about Unitarian Universalism. Hope you come. Oh, and I'm going to be gone for the next couple of weeks, and I need greeters. So if you are able to greet next Sunday or the following, let me know, please.
Good morning, Martha here from Programs. Yesterday morning, I was on a walk with some members from First U. One of their auction items, that they had theirs in February, was a history tour walk around Lake Eola with Joy Dickinson, who used to write in the paper. It's really, really a cool morning. But Mary DuBois, who is their current past president, they're having an outing on March 14th. I will put this in the notable news, but March 14th is a spring break day for both Orange and Seminole County. And at Bill Frederick Park, which is on the other side of town, they're hosting a nature day. Environmental educator is going to be there. An environmental educator, Antonio Ulavella. They're going to make birdhouses and do a nature walk at the park. So this will be there for families with kids or people without kids that like nature. So we've been invited to join them, so I'll get it in the notable news for next week. Something to do on a Friday.
Very cool. All right, so I'm going to cover, I didn't do exits with you guys. So there's the exit over here. We've got an exit behind us. We have the exit out to the back children's area. There is also an exit behind me, but don't go through that exit because there's a lot of cords here. So if you guys need to get out, those are your exits that you should use. It is still cold and flu season. Please, if you're not feeling good, please stay home, keep your germs at home, and join us online. And also, as Miguel mentioned, vaccines are very important. There's boosters always available for COVID. If you haven't gotten a COVID booster in a while, it's beneficial, and it'll help you not get some very bad symptoms of COVID, hopefully. Alrighty. So, my opening words today are actually from Harriett Moore, and it's, "Dear coworkers, freedom never descends upon people. It is always bought with a price." And then our opening music today is "Here We Have Gathered," and it's going to be led by Gary Levins and E.T. Tran.
Thanks. You can stand if you're willing and able. And we'll sing all 3 verses, and Alicia will give us a short introduction. Here we are gathered side by side, circle of kinship, come and step inside. May all who seek here find a kindly horde. May all who speak here feel they have been heard. Sing now together this our heart's own song. Here we are gathered, called to celebrate. 'Tis of our lifetime matters small ages, women, children, men, infants and sages, sharing what we can. Sing now together this our heart's own song. Life has its battles, sorrows, and regret, but in the shadows let us not forget. We who now gather know each other's pain. Kindness can heal us. As we give, we gain. Sing now in friendship this our heart's own song.
So, our chalice lighter today is Eva? Okay. Eva is 3.5. She wanted to make sure we got the half on there for her. And she is going to a birthday party next weekend. Amazing. And if you will join with me in the light of truth, in the warmth of love, we gather to seek, to sustain, and to share. We also like to affirm our time together here. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its gift. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek truth and love, and to help one another. We would like to welcome any visitors who are joining us this morning. We are a congregation of, we have a wide variety of speakers that come talk to us every week. Some examples are professors from UCF, Seminole State College, Rollins, Valencia, speakers from different religions, speakers from the congregation. We have speakers coming to talk about civil rights like we have today. So we just suggest that you come back and enjoy 2 or 3 of our services to kind of really figure out what we're all about. And so why don't you go ahead and greet the people that are around you and listen for me to call you back. What does a waterfall sound like? Shh. That was awesome. Thank you for letting me call you back. And please stay for coffee conversation afterwards. We have snacks and goodies and tea and coffee and all sorts of stuff. All right. And the mic is already in the center, so I don't have to do that. Thank you, Patrick. Now's the time for joys and concerns. You can come up to the front, or if you raise your hand, I can bring the mic to you. Just a note again that we are streaming online, so please make sure that whatever you say, you don't mind having on the internet forever.
My joy is I play basketball.
It's been 3 years, and I'm still wearing yellow over blue because there's still a war going on in Ukraine, and my heart is there.
My joy is that, I mean, it's not a joy, it's a concern actually, that my dad is going to not be here next Sunday because his uncle died. And I don't even know it. I'm so sad.
They say sometimes, some people say that bad things happen in threes, so I hope I'm through with my 3 because last week I had a really gut-wrenching experience, and I'm not going to go into that one too long. And then that day I get home and we're riding around in our cart in the yard, and there's my cat dead in the yard. And then my son calls me and lets me know that he's ill again and he's going to need another surgery, and he doesn't have any health insurance. So, but you know, there's one thing, I can be glad that I can help him and take care of him still. I still have that ability.
Hi, everybody. David McElroy. I have a concern first and then a joy. The concern is that Caitlin, my oldest daughter, came to the show last night and went home, and as she was coming down the stairs, she forgot her purse, and she went head first down the steps. And she got a little concussion and hurt her knee and her elbow. So if you could, send Caitlin some good positive vibes, because ouch. And my joy is that last night, I think we had approximately 70 people here for the show. We really appreciate it. And I have some people to thank. Margie, where'd she go? Where is she? There she is. My heavens, she just, I mean, there was other volunteers, but she put together a good spread. Jill and Larry Vita, thank you so much. Melanie, Bettina, Lori, who helped organize the kitchen and did some cleanup afterwards. Miguel, Colleen, Alyssa, who took, actually she started the flyer for us, got it going, and then took all the tickets, and it's just amazing. And I know there's other people I should thank, and I'm sorry if I haven't. Marilyn's coming next week. She's preparing an audition for another show now. So anyway, she'll do some more thank yous. Thank you all for coming who did come. Appreciate it. Thank you.
My joy is that I'm going to go to a baby shower with my mom, where my sister's going to the birthday party.
My joy is yesterday I went to a powwow in Mount Dora and wore the shirt that Paula adjusted that no longer says free on her pelt here, but it says freed. And so that was a plus, and a lot of people loved that shirt. And concern is my body hurts today for going. And happy birthday, David. Happy early birthday.
Your birthday too?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, happy birthday, Kathy. I don't think that many of you know that I made my living as an artist for many years, and I gave that up and went to graduate school and became a psychotherapist and stopped drawing. Well, I started drawing again about a month ago, and I don't have to do it for money anymore, and it's a lot of fun. So that's a real joy for me.
I actually saw Caitlin fall down the stairs, and it was not a super fun time. So yeah, if you guys wouldn't mind just keeping her in your thoughts, she's not feeling super great this morning. And if we could just take a moment of silence for all of those joys and concerns that remain in our hearts. Now is time for All Ages, which will be presented by our own amazing religious education coordinator, Tay Barton.
Bless you. Hi, everyone. Before service, I handed out 10 black cards and 10 white cards. To anyone who is holding one of those cards, I'd like you to vote on an age-old debate. Are pancakes or waffles better? Please raise your card if you think pancakes are better. So I counted hers. Let me just mark that down. So that, and then 1, 2, 3. Yes. And is it for pancakes? Yeah. Is it 2 or 3 votes? 2 votes. Okay. Okay, you can put those cards down. Now, raise your card if you think waffles are better. Okay, thank you. So I saw 7 black votes for pancakes, 6 white, 3 black for waffle, 4 white for waffle. And since I saw 6 white votes for pancakes, that is what I will consider the winner. The following speech was brought to my attention by congregation member Evelyn Chilon. My apologies. On March 15, 1965, President Lyndon Johnson presented a speech to a joint session of Congress. The speech was televised. Mr. Speaker, Mr. President, members of Congress, I speak tonight for the dignity of man and the destiny of democracy. Last week at Selma, long-suffering men and women peacefully protested the denial of their rights and were brutally assaulted. One good man, a man of God, was killed, Pastor James Ream, a Unitarian minister. Rarely at any time does an issue bear the secret heart of America itself. The issue of equal rights for American Negroes is such an issue. There is no Negro problem. There is no Southern problem. There is no Northern problem. There is only an American problem. All men are created equal. These are not just clever words or an empty theory. Those words are promised to every citizen that they shall share the dignity of man. It rests on his right to be treated as a man equal in opportunity to all others. To deny a man his hopes because of his color, race, religion, or place of birth is not only to do injustice, it is to deny America and dishonor the dead who gave their lives for American freedom. The harsh fact is that in many places in this country, men and women are kept from voting simply because they are Negroes. The Constitution says that no person shall be kept from voting because of his race or his color. We have all sworn an oath before God to support and defend that Constitution. Wednesday, I will send to Congress a law designed to eliminate illegal barriers to the right to vote. It is wrong, deadly wrong, to deny any of your fellow Americans the right to vote in this country. There is no issues of states' rights or national rights. There is only the struggle of human rights. Unfortunately, even if the bill was passed, the battle will not be over. The voting rights bill was fought and filibustered greatly and was jointly passed and then signed on August 5th, 1965. Despite the passing of this bill, we still have a long way to go. Thank you.
Such a rock star. We're so lucky to have you. Our interlude and offering is going to start now. We share 40% of our plate with the local community. Our social action committee helps pick out where we send the profits. This share of the plate will go to the Orlando Justice Center. Our interlude and offering song is We Are a Gentle, Angry People, led by Janet Levins and E.T. Tran.
Yeah, we've sung this before. I believe I requested verses 1, 2, and 4. So if you're using the hymnal, we're skipping 3 and of course 5 and 6. So.
We are a gentle, angry people, and we are singing, singing for our Lord. We are a gentle, angry people, and we are singing, singing for our Lord. We are a justice-seeking people, and we are singing, singing for our Lord. We are a justice-seeking people, and we are singing, singing for our Lord. We are a land of many colors, and we are singing, singing for our Lord. We are a land of many colors. We are singing, singing for our Lord.
Thank y'all. Woo. All right. So we are now going to have the children's recessional. Children are always invited and encouraged to stay, but if they would like to go, they can do so now. We love you and bless you and send you on your way. We love you and bless you today and every day. Easy. Today, for our service, I would love to welcome up Sonya Mallard to speak about the legacy of the Moores.
Good morning. I'm grateful, and I truly like to thank God for being on this parcel of ground this morning, a place I've never been before. So I'm grateful this morning, and I'm thankful that my coworker Yvonne found it not robbery to get up this morning early with us and travel this way, and that GPS got us lost, but we found it, and I'm grateful. So I'm not usually one that really speaks to a PowerPoint, but my friend in the back is going to try to follow me, so I'm going to just go. Is that okay? Harriett T. Moore was the most hated black man in the state of Florida. He was before I had a dream today. He was even before by any means necessary. How come nobody ever heard of Harriett T. Moore? Harriett T. Moore fought for three things, and it was equal pay for black teachers. Black teachers and white teachers didn't make the same amount of money. Was that free? Was that fair? Come on, somebody. No, that wasn't fair. So him and his good friend John Gilbert took the first lawsuit to Brevard Public Schools. And guess who was the lawyer? Thurgood Marshall. So Thurgood Marshall would come on the property, and they would strategize at the dining room table. Now, they didn't win the lawsuit, but they eventually won the war. And the second thing that Harriett T. Moore did, he investigated every lynching that took place in the state of Florida. Now, come on, somebody. I'm way of New York City, but I really thought lynching was from Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama. But let me make sure we're clear today. Lynching is when they took that rope and threw it around a tree and would make it a noose for a black man's neck or a black woman's neck. And sometimes they would hoist us up to a tree. But what got me was that they would call all the townspeople together, and they would point and they would laugh to make a mockery to keep us in our place. And the third thing that Harriett T. Moore did, He taught his students how to cast ballots because he understood the power of the vote. Your vote is your power. Your vote is your what? Power. Come on, somebody. Yes, it is. What's December 25th? Whether you celebrate or not, is that usually a happy time? Is that usually a fun time? Well, on December 25th, 1951, the Moores were celebrating Christmas pretty much like you and I, with one exception. They wasn't going to open up their presents that day because their daughter was coming home on the train the next day. Now, we're going to talk this morning. Every place in America got that imaginary line, and what is it? The railroad tracks. Blacks live on one side of town and whites live on another. But Harriett T. Moore lived on the white side of town. So they got in a 1947 Ford Model A car. They drove across Old Dixie Highway, went to East Mims, and they celebrated Christmas pretty much like you and I. Again, with one exception, they wasn't going to open up their presents that day because their baby girl was coming home on the train the next day. Now, as they was celebrating Christmas at their family house, something evil was lurking in the grove, and it was the KKK. And I know somebody gonna say, come on, Miss Sonya, how you know that? From the FBI reports. They was smoking cigarette after cigarette, they was plotting and they was waiting. Somebody gave the layout to Harriett T. Moore's house. They knew where the bathroom was at, they knew where the kitchen was at, and they even knew what side of the bed he slept on. Now, come on, my brother, you may sleep on the right side of your bed, and my sister, you may sleep on the left, and you may sleep in the middle, but Harriett T. Moore slept on the right side of his bed. Not only was it Christmas, it was their 25th wedding anniversary. So when they came home, they celebrated Christmas. He had a little cake for his wife. He surprised her with, and they danced a little bit. They talked, they laughed. And his mother was visiting from Jacksonville, Florida. And she said, Harry, you got to stop this foolishness. You're going to get yourself killed. He said, Ma, what's the price of freedom? And they went to bed. Again, didn't know the Klansman was hiding right in the grove. 10 o'clock, they was asleep. 10:15, they were sound asleep. At 10:30, the Klansmen got Yancey. They crawled from underneath the grove. They lit that dynamite, and at 10:20, boom! That was the bomb heard around the world. People as far as Scotchmore came running, Titusville came running, they thought NASA blew up. They said, Professor Moore's house, Professor Moore's house. That dynamite was so explosive that it took Harriet's body off the bed, lifted them into the ceiling and printed, and caved into the ground. My brothers and sisters today, can I tell y'all something? It wasn't a hospital here that would see a black man. They couldn't dial 911, so the neighbors came running, but the uncle got there first. They digged through the debris. They picked up Harry and Harriet's limp bodies, carried him to his 1947 Ford Model A car, and drove all the way down Highway 46 to the city of Sanford. How fast could that car go? It took them about an hour and a half, and Dr. Starks was waiting. He had a needle this big and gave Harry a needle on his side. He was dead on arrival. Harriet was bleeding internally and had to be hospitalized. We still talking about the Jim Crow era. Now, y'all know what that Jim Crow era was, right? Colored only, white only, separate but equal. Come on, somebody. Blacks couldn't even drink from a white water fountain, let alone get served in a restaurant, had to go through the back door, if that. What? They couldn't even try on clothes at the department store. That was the Jim Crow era. Oh, y'all know Florida 99 degrees hot in the summertime. Can we just talk this morning? Jacksonville, Florida. Blacks got into a swimming pool, whites poured lye all in the pool to get them out. That was the Jim Crow era. Let me make sure we clear this morning. I know someone gonna say, come on, lady, that was so long ago, but was it really? Titusville High School just got integrated in 1971. Was it really that long ago? Oh, what year is this, 2025? 2024, I came to work one morning, there was a noose on our fence. What do you think they were trying to tell me? 3 times a week, a dog F-150 truck come driving by. They looking at us, we looking at them, they looking at us. And when we get a threat, the sheriff department comes, and they park in the back of us. But when there's an imminent threat, they park in the front of the building. Again, we ain't scared. So let me make sure we clear. Evangeline Moore just passed away 8 years ago. Now that locomotive train, I'm going full circle, came in that station, All aboard Titusville! Evangeline Moore picked up her bags. She was so happy to be coming home for Christmas to a place of love and safety and some good food. And when she got off the train, she was looking through the crowd for her mother and her father, but she didn't see them. But all of a sudden, out the corner of her eye, she saw her aunt and her uncle, so she just assumed her parents was too busy. So she followed the aunt and uncle to the car. Nobody said anything. They got in the car, put her bags in, eerily quiet. Finally, the uncle turned around and said, Evangeline, I might as well tell you, they bombed your house, they killed your daddy, and now we're going to the hospital to see your mother. Can you just imagine that? You coming home for Christmas to a place of love and safety and some good food, and all because of the color of your skin. Everything that you know just been blown to pieces. Now, I'm going to paraphrase. Evangeline Moore just died 8 years ago. And she used to come to the museum and sit in the front row and share her stories with us. And now I'm going to paraphrase. We got to the hospital and I sat on my mother's bed. And she looked at me and my sister and said, we raised you to be good citizens. We taught you values, morals, and respect. We don't want you to hate nobody for the color of their skin. Can you just imagine that? They just killed the man of her dreams. Y'all know the story. They met in Cocoa, Florida at a card game. Where my card players at? They wasn't playing Blackjack 21 and they wasn't playing spades, but they was playing Big Whist. And as the story go, Harry was sitting there. Harriet walked in and he was smitten. It was love at first sight. She was 3 years older than him. She was taller than him. And some might say a cougar, but they fell in love, got married, and hid their marriage from their parents for 6 months. Isn't it wonderful that we got this rich history right here in our own backyard? Come on, y'all. Good, bad, or indifference, history is just history. Harriett T. Moore had the audacity to do the unthinkable at a time that it wasn't prevalent for a black man to do. And my sister, I know you're going to say, well, what did he do? I'm so glad you asked me this morning. He got a piece of literature, wink, wink, from New York City and started opening up the NAACP branches throughout the state of Florida, traveling the back roads, couldn't believe himself in the bathroom. What did he do? Harriett T. Moore encouraged blacks to use their voice for their power, to change the landscape of America's political system in the state of Florida. What did he do? Him and his wife was the first civil rights activists in the state of Florida. I'm proud to tell you today that we have this beautiful establishment at 2180 Freedom Avenue, Mims, Florida. Please come visit us Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, boom, boom, commercial. We're open on Saturdays from 10 to 2. Harriett T. Moore and Harriet was truly civil rights activists before their time. And I'd just like to say again, we can't change the past, but we could definitely change the direction that we want our world to go into. What questions do you have for me?
Thank you so much for coming.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I've been to the center. It's beautiful. And as a New Yorker, I learned a tremendous amount. I really didn't think Florida was the South, but it is. And a lot of really bad stuff went down here. So I think it's important we all know.
I agree. I agree.
I'll take one. Right here?
Yes.
What kinds of things do you do for, like, educational, like K through 12? Do you have groups like that come in, and what do you teach in that way?
Absolutely. I'm proud to say that we helped write the curriculum for Brevard Public Schools. And let me say this. Remember, the Moores got fired for their activism. So they forced them to resign. They have just reinstated the Moores. I'm proud to say that Brevard Public Schools, we have 250 kids a day, Monday through Thursday, 9 to 1. I'm proud to say that we're on the Civil Rights Trail. And when the kids come, we split them up into 4 groups. We have 4 rotations. We do the storytelling room. We show a movie appropriate for the age groups. We also take them to the museum as a timeline museum. From 1860, the Emancipation Proclamation, and it works around the room to 1964, the Voting Act. Also, they go into the replica house. The house is just like it was on December 25th, 1951, and we got the layout from Evangeline Moore before she passed away. So everything that you see in there is an artifact because the house was blown to pieces, but it's just like it was on December 25th. And also, we have a civil rights walking trail. Now, when the Moores died, they had 4 acres of land, but I'm proud to tell you today we're on 12 acres of land. And you know, sometimes I like to say this too. Even though Harry T. Moore and Harriett Moore didn't make the same amount of money as their white counterparts, they made a pretty good living. So they were both educators. He was a principal. And back in that time frame, you have to remember this. Principals got a stipend of $800 a month. Not only was Harriet sold life insurance, then on a property, they sold their oranges and their grapefruits to Nevin's Fruit Packing Company that's still standing today on US 1. So back in that day, they really made a pretty good living for black people, right? So yeah, you're welcome. Any other questions? Yes.
May I ask, for yourself, did you grow up in Florida?
Oh, no, I'm a New Yorker.
Well, me too.
I was born and raised in New York, but we moved to Florida. I never heard of Titusville, Florida before. I met my husband in college, and his grandmother and her sister and a friend bought 3 houses next to each other. So we came down to take care of his grandmother, who was 95. But I wanted to teach my children, this is what you do for family. You don't put them in nursing homes. So we sold our house and came down. What I didn't know was Florida was 50 years behind time. So it was a cultural shock for me. And to be honest, I really I didn't think I would survive it at first. And let me just share this story real quick. So I was a school teacher, and the first day I walked into Riverview Elementary School, I was looking for the teacher's lounge, and this lady said to me, "Are you looking for the janitor's closet?"
Oh.
Well, I was like, welcome to Florida, right? I was like, no, I'm not. But that was just the racism that was so alive and reading. It was just like shocking. But I'm proud to tell you now that I love my town in Titusville. I'm proud to tell you that I've learned that local elections matter. Knowing your mayor, know your city councilman, you know, knowing the chief of police, your sheriff. I love my town.
Growing up in New York also,
Oh,
we didn't have legal segregation. We had redlining where you could only live in certain areas and you could only buy in certain areas. I didn't realize it as a kid, but I do now.
Yeah. And in New York, we just didn't like you because we didn't like you, right? So I agree with you. Thank you for that. Yes.
2 questions. Was there ever any justice that came down as a result of that atrocity? And the other is, do you have any concerns about what's going on in our state government today in terms of racism?
Okay. So your first question, I would say no, and let me say why. No one was brought to justice. However, I really thought it was the Klansman, Brevard County Klansman, right? Because the Klansman is a Klansman, but it wasn't. It was the Klansman from Lakeland County. So if you read and follow history, the Groveland Ford case, it was a sheriff called Sheriff Willis McCall. And so I know everybody think that Donald Trump always say, you know, make America, keep America great, or whatever his slogan is. But it was really Sheriff Willis McCall who had that slogan. And so he hated black people. He would kill us and dump us, kill us and dump us. And that's where that came from. The other thing is that, what was your second question?
About the current state of the state.
Family, can I just stand here today? We already know the current state of America. And I don't care how you voted, it doesn't matter to me. But the point is, we are all human. We all are making history right now, and it's being written as we stand. So what line are you on? I mean, human kindness, human dignity, peace. I mean, the wars are breaking out. I'm praying it's not a World War III coming. I just think that when you really search your own heart, and when you think about it, so many people is into this me, myself, and I, right? But God didn't put us here for that. God didn't make us a lone wolf. God put us here to help somebody else. It's not about us, it's about each other and togetherness. So that's what I'm going to say on that. Yes.
So I teach 6th and 8th grade, and I don't know. We just did Sojourner Truth in 8th grade, and Harriet Tubman and Harriet Jacobs in 6th grade. And like, I don't know how to get to my kids, like, this was not that long ago. And I don't know, like, what suggestions do you have to help me get them to realize, like we need to address this?
Yeah, that's a great question. So when students come into our conference room, like set up like this, right? And if you ever watch people body language, most black kids will go sit in the back of the room, or they're clustered together, right? They all clustered together with their friends in a group, because you know, that kind of age is important. However, you have to call it what it is. And I love to say, oh, we sat in the back of the bus much too long. Come to the front of the room, please. And they body language. Another thing, I think you have to just teach history like it was. You have to be direct. And I know as a school teacher, there's only so much you could say. But what I do say is, sit up, pull those pants up. Boy, don't you know Daddy wouldn't let you read and write? Do you know your education is important? Sit up correctly. Like, sometimes you got to call it out, and I call it out. Maybe I have a little more liberty than you do right now, but I call it out because if you don't know your history, you don't know where you're going, and a lot of children don't know their history. And for instance, again, a New Yorker, I worked at a Jewish hospital, Mount Sinai Hospital, for years, and they always used to say, if you have a Jewish mother, right? Well, I had a Jewish mother, and she's always hit me upside my head. So one Friday, you know, I was just being like her, and she would always show me her brand from the Holocaust. And I was like, we got to talk about this again? Come on, it's Friday, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And she would hit me up my head and say, Sonya, let me tell you something. The minute you stop talking about history, it's the minute it's going to repeat itself. As long as I live, I want you to always remember, history is important. I didn't get it then, but I got it now. What's happening in this world, right? Banning books, trying to erase people. How can you erase history? Moving monuments. That stuff belongs here because that's what happened. That's what made America. I think, you know, America is great because of the greatness of everybody that's here. Good question. Anybody else?
Sonya,
Yes.
I know when I've been there before and we've been to the gravesite and stuff, and how they, the Klan have passed out flyers and stuck them on your cars. And where do you think, how do you think the Moors would think today with everything? Yeah, teach it right. Teach it, teach it, teach it. Ignorance, oh my gosh, somebody said yesterday, oh, do you still live in teepees?
Oh, wow.
They get it a lot. So teaching it is just so important, so important. But I'd like to know, you know, kind of what you would think, where the Moors, what the Moors would think, and what would they be focusing on in today's environment.
So in my humble opinion, I would think the Moors would really be upset, disgusted, disappointed that we didn't carry the richness of our country on for democracy, for humanity. So when she mentioned the cemetery, let me make sure we're clear. They buried at LaGrange Cemetery. That's a historic cemetery. And I really like cemeteries because it tells stories, right? But do you know that cemetery is still segregated today? The blacks are on the left and the whites are on the right. Blows my mind, right? Not only that, but the Daughters of Confederacy come and put Confederate flags on all the white graves. Yeah, in 2025. And actually, I just had the pleasure and the honor to speak to the Daughters of the Revolution, American Revolution, and that was really interesting, right? But it was great because that's what starts conversations. Conversations to unpeel back the layers of whatever fear people are holding inside. So I believe it starts with a conversation. But I do believe the Moors would say they passed the torch, what's happening, right? And that's why it's up to each one of us. It doesn't take, some people always think, well, what difference can I make? One vote made a difference. What difference can you make? Your voice matters. And you know what else? Sometimes we're in a funny place right now. And I'm going to be honest with you. I take my cell phone, and if you go in your cell phone, I challenge each one of you today, and you look down your contact list, if everyone is in your phone and they look like you, think like you, go wherever you go, and you don't have diversity in your contact list, there's something wrong with you. And I'm going to be honest, I had to be intentional about this. And it was about maybe 8 years ago. I remember sitting in my office, And I said, Lord, I don't want to be racist. I don't want to be biased. I don't want to be just pro-black, you know. And I always hate when they say I got that one black friend. And I don't want to say I got that one white friend, right? And I remember saying, God, help me. Help me. And I promise you. So I've learned that as an individual, you have to be intentional and you have to be impactful. And that means I had to take myself out of my comfort zone and say, you know what, Paula, I want to meet you. Let's go to lunch. You know what, Peter? There's a meeting coming up. Can I go with you? You know, there's certain things that we can do. Because some people always wonder, well, how do you meet other people, right? Well, that's how. Just by a conversation, well, you know, I like to eat, but just by lunch, right? So, yeah, that's a great question. Thank you. Anybody else? Well, thank you again this morning for letting me come and share the Moors with you. Thank you for letting me stand on this parcel of ground that I never stood on before. And I appreciate you, and I will be back.
Wow, I learned so much. That was awesome. All right. And we're going to extinguish our chalice now. We extinguish this flame. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. All right, and we got one more step led by Paula and E.T. Tran.
A little intro. And we're going to do all 4 verses of this, as I understand. One more step. We will take one more step till there is peace for us and everyone. We'll take one more step. One more word. We will say one more word till every word is heard by everyone. We'll say one more word. One more prayer. We will say one more prayer till every prayer is shared by everyone. We'll say one more prayer. One more song, we will sing one more song, till every song is sung by everyone. We'll sing one more song.
So I actually found the Ballad of Harriett Moore by Langston Hughes, and I was going to read that for my closing words. When will men, for the sake of peace and democracy, learn no bombs a man can make, keep men and women from being free? And this, he says, our Harry Moore, as from the grave he cries, no bomb can kill the dreams I hold, for freedom never dies. Do we have a postlude? Yes, we do. Go in peace.